Welcome to AI Insider, where we talk tech, where we talk AI, where we talk the future. So we're going to be diving in, as usual, into an informative and transformative, impactful conversation. And today's industry that we are targeting is health and safety. Great. And I have so much insights, so much things to talk about. And again, I'm your host, Tamia Forde, and this is AI Insider. As AI continues to revolutionize how businesses manage risk, optimize safety, and ensure compliance, Mr. Llanos has been working tirelessly to help organizations harness the power of AI to not only protect, their workers, but also to predict and prevent incidents before they even occur. His insight, as you will soon see, is sure to spark some fascinating conversations. So we are jumping right into it. Hello, Mr. Llanos. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
Okay, great. So the first question that I have for you is how do you see AI driven risk management reshaping the way, HSE identifies and assess workplace hazards in real time?
We have to move towards making data-driven decisions in every element of business. And the things that can end a business or end a life are definitely high quality decisions that I want to apply the best data. The problem that, and I am a well-rounded business consultant, but my roots are in health and safety and managing large projects and situations in that health and safety context. The data comes at you hard and fast from multiple directions at the same time. And that is like literally the smallest element of your job, but also the most critical. The biggest part of you affecting anything in terms of the safety of our project is the human element. People are the ones who could get in trouble. The people are the ones that you want to behave in a particular way. The people are the ones that you want to put into a culture of protecting the company or protecting the project and protecting themselves from harm and loss. How do you manage those relationships and those situations and the data at the same time? Historically, it took absolute superheroes to be able to do it, or large teams. In the age of AI, the data can be managed and it can be harnessed, it can be visualized in any number of ways that enables an HSE advisor or HSE manager, HSE coordinator, a supervisor, anybody who has a HSE role to make better decisions based on better insight, and insight that is truncated so you could get straight to the point, make a choice, and implement based on what is in front of you and the insights that are available. So I would say that AI, to put all that into a neat shell, is a data management tool of unprecedented power. And it gives the HSE professional managing the safety of a project tools with which to give cutting edge advice and the right intervention at the right moment to protect lives and protect property, protect value.
Of course, it does. In essence, I feel as though the main thing that we are trying to achieve, especially with AI integration, is to make lives easier, especially on a safety and health scope. It's to minimize risk. That's at base what you need to do to make this work. And AI does gives processes, it does have automations that can make these things that are usually painstaking because risk assessments takes time. A lot of these things takes a lot of groundwork. And I feel as though the implementation and the integration of AI would eventually make those things much easier, and it would mitigate a lot of risk.
I will tell you what I love about what's possible in this space. Now, I train people in risk assessment. I believe that I have been well trained in risk assessment, and the experts will agree that competent risk assessors in industry are not exactly common. They are very qualified people, they are very experienced people who are getting risk assessment wrong. It's a specialized thing. Um, Part of it is HSE education, and part of this is also opportunity to apply. And it may seem on the surface, I promise you I'm going somewhere with this. It may seem on the surface that risk assessment is very subjective, but it doesn't have to be. And in fact, in certain types of risk assessments, it's absolutely none. In certain types of risk assessment, it's all arithmetic. In other types of risk assessment, it's a mix of qualitative and quantitative. In other types of risk assessment, it's totally qualitative. AI as a standardization tool opens up the doors for a company, a project, people to get on the same page with how we do a job, what the underlying considerations are, and what the requirements are. So I would say that the biggest addition that AI makes to the health and safety management and the risk management process is not speed, it's quality and thoroughness. And it's also the ability to fact test, fact check, to validate, to stress test, and to run scenarios against what you've actually put on the risk assessment document. So the idea of, and in any profession, it can't be stated enough. AI does not do your job for you. AI will never replace the role of humans managing the risk of a project. What it does is that it amplifies their expertise. It gives them the tools to do more, to dig deeper, and to really understand what is in front of them and put the best measures, as far as reasonably practicable, of course, in place to prevent loss.
Indeed. So I know you said that you have trained people in AI and risk assessment. Tell me a bit about that, but more importantly, tell me how that looks, because I'm thinking that AI enhanced safety training is ahead of the curve, to my knowledge at least. I want to know how exactly has that worked out? How has it been implemented? Is it something that is ever changing? Like there is probably a new ChatGPT as we are speaking right now. Is it something that is evolving just as quickly as health and safety protocols?
The mistake somebody might make is that you can just go and attack a risk assessment exercise without understanding what an LLM is, what it isn't, and how it works, and what it's susceptible to. So we always speak about the dangers of hallucination, the dangers of bias. Remember, especially ChatGPT, which is fantastic for all sorts of everyday applications. ChatGPT is very prone to hallucination. ChatGPT will make stuff up. ChatGPT's whole job is to tell you something. People may not understand that LLMs, as we know them, don't think. LLMs essentially brute force terabytes of information. And it gets very smart at predicting the next word in a word sequence that gets you where you want to go. If you do not set the framework, and this is a word as AI literacy. AI literacy is about making the LLM do what you want it to do. That's the heart of the issue. And you have to talk the LLM's language and you have to create a framework for the LLM. Once you're getting into work that is of a technical high stakes, we're going to talk about legal in a second, legal implications, etc., etc., etc. You have to be super careful about what you let this animal do. AI is like a dog. Some dogs are very well trained. They stand up by your foot, they're not moving an inch. Some dogs you let go that leash, them run down the road, around the corner. You see the dog this time tomorrow. How you train your dragon, or you train your LLM. And there is a framework, and I am proud to say that I am now counted among the theorists of AI and health and safety because I, within my team, has created a framework for training LLMs to effectively develop risk measurement protocols. And we call it the ARISE framework. And it's one of the big things that we teach in our AI for HSE professional programs that we offer. Anybody could make any framework, but I believe that at least for me, as an experienced HSE consultant and practitioner, I have had the context and the training to identify risk assessment on its own as a standalone discipline, and then understand how we can coax this wild animal called a LLM into creating a coherent framework of information from which we could derive a data-driven decision. In our program, the ARISE framework is key, and understanding the legal limitations is also key because, and there are case studies that we discuss. Of course, you may have heard that a Tesla got into a fatal crash in 2017. And Elon, in his wisdom, hurry and pay the people. Because this is not something that you want to test in court when you're trying to make a living selling autonomous cars. The question of, and it's a deep question that we'll delve into in some other forum, where are the limits of liability? Where is the legal accountability? Who is responsible if somebody dies? From an industrial relations standpoint, the companies who put these documents called risk assessments forward, and there are legally required documents, the prosecutions that flow out of accidents are generally resultant on 13A of the OSH Act. The thing that gets people in court and gets people in trouble is, did you do a suitable and sufficient assessment of risk, and did you follow the measures in your own risk assessment? So if you willy-nilly as the company owner or a company HSE officer, a company supervisor, you go and do a risk assessment and you sign off on it and something goes wrong, you can't tell OSHA or the people family or the insurance company, yo, I can predict that regardless of what, if it's ever tested in court, it won't come back well. It just won't. Because we understand the case law, we understand the common law, we understand the doctrines of duty of care, etc. you cannot assign away your responsibility for suitable and sufficient risk assessment. And regardless of what humans are getting it wrong every day.
Always.
So don't tell me the human could do it better, because having audited, having been audited, having gone into firms, having defended companies from Ocean Industrial Court, companies are very rarely getting risk assessment right. I would suggest to anybody who's listening that this is an opportunity to bring entire teams to a level playing field in terms of how they manage risk, put the machines to work, have discussions, and get better quality risk assessments faster, and implement those insights on the site, on the project, on the manufacturing floor. So it's definitely a transformative tool, but it must be used responsibly or it causes more problems than it solves.
I do believe integrating AI into HSE systems would be challenging. I use challenging very loosely because I do believe that something as AI can be managed, can be controlled, and could be used to the best of its ability once it has been fed the right information, the right data, and all of these kind of things. So my thing is, since in my opinion, you are a front runner in AI integration and stuff like that, what are some of the hurdles that you have encountered in the health and safety field? And how exactly are you working to make AI better in workflow in HSE?
The first bit of trouble is the professional who spent years doing this, who spent sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars going to school, and fancies himself or herself an expert. So, and then they are programmed in their mind. What do I do as a HSE professional? Well, I write policies and I do risk assessments and I review stuff and I write reports and I analyze data. And somebody was well paid, somebody was respected, somebody was feeling really good about themselves because this is what they did or do every day. They're good at it. And then all of a sudden, somebody, and you will immediately resist it. There's a machine that can write the policy that I will take a week writing. I can get a first draft in less than 2 seconds. That's risk assessment that would have taken me a month. I could write a thick book on a complex process like this in a day or two if I paid attention. And there's a list of things that people thought they did to deliver value to projects and to companies that they now wake up in a world where it's an undeniable fact that humans don't do that anymore. And if the company chooses to begin to live with that realization now, or they choose to live with that realization 2 years from now, it still doesn't change the fact that the genie is out of the bottle. So the question that somebody may ask is, if I don't spend my time, my billable hours, so to speak, producing these documents or doing these analyses or whatever the case is, if I internalize, okay, a machine does these things now, what do I do? People are going to fight back immediately. When the opportunity, not only for the professional, but for also the business, is to take these tools, move the busy work off of the table, and begin to up the value that we deliver to our organizations. So as I said in a recent article, and I say to groups that I speak to all the time. AI is the greatest opportunity to increase the value that people bring to the business and professional landscape. Some people don't. Some people don't. So, and that's the first problem that we face. Before we get into safety tech, we get into automations, we get into the use of LLMs, we get into big data decisions, we get into AI CCTV, we get into IoT devices, we get into augmented reality, all sorts of applications to data science in industry. Before we get into all of that, people are afraid of change, and that's the number one problem that we face. And that fear of change is going to cost those people ultimately their careers. Because those people, while they are fighting against change, other people, junior people, young people, Miss Forde, people younger than you, with limited context, with limited experience, but leveraging technology, can get the same or better results as highly tenured, highly competent, highly experienced people out there. The person who fails to adapt to this loses their ability to affect change with their vast experience and their vast wisdom. It's lost because they are no longer commercially viable. It's like a man trying to run Sando to Port of Spain in a donkey cart when a man have a brand new Serena, 7 seaters, air conditioned Wi-Fi. You're going to jump on the back of that donkey cart because that's what you know. And as silly as that sounds, it's the equivalent of what is happening right now, and it's the first hurdle, because once people accept that these tools are now available, there's nothing I could teach that person. That AI itself can't teach them itself. There's nothing you can't learn. There's nothing you don't know. It's nothing you can't apply for the asking if you understand the frameworks. So the key in it and the opportunity here for business and for professionals is for us to change how we work and change how we deliver value to who we deliver value to in the course of what we're doing. Because it's all about value delivery to a paying customer.
All of these things that are rumors or things that are already made up and assumed rather than just actually digging into the case studies, digging into the information that are provided, the multiple TED Talks on how AI is not here to harm, but here to help. I feel as though that gap that it has needs to be bridged for people to actually open their eyes to see the possibilities or the opportunities, the areas of opportunities that they can have in any industry, but in health and safety as well, because I do believe health and safety is for the good of all people. Nobody wants to know that you're going in a supermarket and at any given point in time, a shelf could fall and you have nothing to collect because it's already been passed. The place has been open with a risk assessment. The health and safety manager says it's okay, it's top tier. And this is some kind of process that could have been avoided. You could not have gotten crushed by some shelf that did not pass, actually, with speedier results, less time for this health and safety officer to be walking up and down, checking nails, checking small screws, putting in certain things that needs to be done. And if he took the time to at least train a process or train an integration or train an automation to do what he does, it's not even another him, it's his assistant.
I would tell you something that you hit on without knowing that you hit on it there. The challenge that HSE professionals across the board face, whether you're dealing with the biggest company, the smallest company, and anywhere in between. And I mean, let's expand the definition of a HSE professional to include a health and safety committee member, a manager, a supervisor, the owners of the company. So if we apply health and safety management good practice, these people all have health and safety roles. And the problem that they all face is they're busy. So you are now not able to think about arguably the most important thing in your business. You think profit's more important? Wait till you have an accident. Profit's not that serious. The most important thing in your business is controlling liability and preventing loss. Because one fire in your business done. The wrong man got damaged in your place, your business done. You as your loved one, I mean, I always empathize with the situation with this incident in Paria with LCMS. Because in everything that went wrong in that entire scenario, and these multiple people lost their lives, and there's so much commission of inquiry, etc., etc., etc. The owner of LCMS lost his son. If he could have gone back in time and put the best safety measures in place for his team, he would still have his son. And I'm sure it plays on his mind. So the costs are sometimes personal. And we don't do it because we're busy. What can we think about if we're not busy meeting our requirements? What can we think about if we're not drowning in paperwork? What can we think about if we can ask an AI on the field with a phone, take a picture of the permit, take a picture of the methodology, take a picture of the GSA, and ask the AI, am I missing anything? Cross-reference against global statistics for accidents and diving related operations. In a second, it would I tell you, what about differential pressure waste? It would I read it and tell you things you didn't even think about. Take a picture, talk to it, ask a question, real time on site. So maybe in an AI powered Paria, those guys wouldn't have died. Maybe in an AI powered Paria, those guys would have the ability to question it for themselves, because we train people in the energy sector, refuse to work, stop work when you are not sure about your health and safety. You have the right to know, you have the right to question. Those are all accident prevention tools. So I am hoping for a future. That's going to happen regardless. But I am hoping for a future where what I am saying is not exotic or controversial or scary. And there are a lot of scary things about AI. There are a lot of things that require. So I am always an advocate for responsible AI adoption. We had to talk it out. We had to take people's stuff into consideration. We have to take people's viewpoints into consideration. They may be waving an alarm that's very serious. We can't forget to listen. This is new. However, the tool is not going away. Our competitive landscape, local, regional, and international, is leveraging AI every day. We cannot afford to wait to be left behind.
It is very true. And I feel in special times like emergencies, time is of the essence. And doing certain things or asking certain questions does make the difference in between life and death. Some people don't realize simply as asking a question, if you're unsure about something, is the difference. Let's just use a cardiologist, right? A cardiologist that's having a very bad day, right? He is running on 3 surgeries, no sleep for 72 hours, and he just has to ask a question: is this the right place to cut? And he just decides, well, he knows it by muscle memory and closes his eye and cuts it.
And now, am I here to tell you AI will never make a mistake or that person wasn't going to die anyway? I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that. But I could definitely tell you that. And it's the same for the surgeon, it's the same for the lawyer, it's the same for the HSE professional, the administrative professional, the project manager. So much rides on success. So much rides on making sure that we deliver. We owe it to ourselves as professionals, as businesses, and as a country to win at the things we do. And in this moment, there are other people not that far away who are leveraging technology. Like, we don't even talk about AI here. They are leveraging technology and getting superior results. They're delivering superior value to us. Why deal with Trinidad? You know, I was in a cross-border deal some years ago, and I was talking to some Chinese business people, and they said something, and I felt ashamed. They said Trini is too slow. This was 2015, you know. There was nothing like AI on the. They just said, "Yo, we dislike dealing with Caribbean business people because it's too slow." Literally telling me that. Say, Gerald, I don't want that to be a us problem. I don't want that to be a you problem. We do everything and we do it quickly. And we need you to not only keep up, we need you first on what you're doing for us to move faster than us.
Yeah, you need to be better. These are the best of the best, you know. The Chinese, they are the best of the best.
A man billing for COVID, they bill a hospital in a week. I want to see, and I want to see better emerge, and I hope that in the midst of this fourth industrial revolution, we can find ways and means to be efficient or find our efficiencies and be the best at doing the things that we do.
It would only make us better. It would not slow us down, and we would not be having doors shut in our face if we move with the times, or at least assume what's going to happen and prepare for it accordingly. You
Indeed.
know, that's the best way to stay ahead of the curve. That's the best way to make a difference in whatever industry that you're going into, I believe.
I
Right?
believe so as well.
Yeah. So,
Tell me if you have any more questions.
of course I do, but it can't be. We're here for hours and hours. But I have one question for you.
Yes.
Right? So there was a real-time CCTV camera that I saw
Mhm.
that was able to pick up on like the infrared signals of the workers in a factory,
Oh,
right?
you've been doing your research, huh?
I am the AI enthusiast, right?
Yes.
And it picked up on each movement of the factory workers that were working in this factory. And what it does, it assumes, or it at least gets the data from each one of them to see if one, any risks would be involved in whatever they're doing, if they are lifting something properly, if they are using their forklift properly, or even if they are walking in a certain way. This camera picks up that, even down to the littlest bending, shifting, head nodding, and stuff like that. So my question to you is, do you believe there is a difference between helping and invasion? Because I know a lot of HSE professionals would prefer doing things on their own and not be monitored, right? Because obviously you've gone to school, you have been through whatever trainings and stuff like that, and you're well aware and you're well equipped to do the job that you're supposed to do. However, if it does have an automation or integration, such as this camera, are we concerned that it would pick up much more quickly on risks or other things that may be awry in that business? And let's just say your job security is hanging at the balance. Is that something that I believe that these health and safety officers can work together with this machine to optimize the workflow or at least avoid risks entirely, even though that's impossible? Can't avoid risks.
In the first instance, and this is the age old ethical or sociological dilemma, privacy versus safety, liberty versus safety. And I am here to tell you that there are already AI CCTV systems all around us. They don't have to ask what part of the airport you are in. If you are in the people airport, they will literally search you and the camera will find you. If you are good, remember when they used to check every car going into Port of Spain for Juve morning? Yeah, they don't do that shit no more. They just line the road waiting patiently for the camera to pick up the wrong person that they're looking for. The most they might tell you is pour on your light now, and they don't even tell you that again. The systems are already in place for all sorts of applications in national security and security on the whole. Little known fact, Port of Spain is mandated. Whether they're going to get through or not is another story. But Port of Spain is mandated to become a smart city by 2030. And what does a smart city mean? That is another 2-hour podcast right there.
No letter by Citygate, right?
Well, I mean, whether you want to talk about no litter, whether you want to talk about traffic management, whether you want to talk about keyless access, whether you want to talk about automated parking tickets, whether you want to talk about car parks without car park attendants, there are so many applications for AI, AI CCTV, IoT, which means the Internet of Things. All of them are big data applications. The punchline is your job as a safety professional, in whatever form that comes, is to prevent harm and to prevent loss and to make sure we profitably deliver what we have to deliver. And if somebody made a career out of walking up and down the plants and they made their money and they did what they had to do with their money, I'm happy for them. The paradigm, a minute now, has moved away from the safety police.
Yeah.
So do I have sympathy for anybody who believes that health and safety is about being a safety police in 2024? No, you should have upskilled 10 years ago. What I need those people to do is, if they are serious about being loss prevention agents and loss prevention leaders for their companies and for their organizations and for the country as a whole, they are going to give themselves all of the tools necessary to let the machine do the heavy lifting so that they can go out there in front of the person, in front of the decision maker and save a life. Because saving the life is not about looking busy.
Yep.
Saving the life is about applying all of the resources and all of the information and all of your skills, all of your instincts, all of your wisdom, all of your communication skills to save lives and make sure we make this money safe. And the future is bright for the HSE professionals who understand and apply that. And I don't know if the HSE professionals who refuse to apply it have a future. And you can do with that information what you will.
I will second that. I do believe in any scope, we often believe that busy work means proper work. And if you do something in a short space of time, there's always suspicion because you probably left something out or you're not doing it properly. How did it take you so quickly to do this? But it's not about quickness, it's not about speed. If I am well aware or if I am well trained to do something, I'm more than capable to do it in a shorter space of time because it's muscle memory. Aside from that, if I do have a tool that is able to help me expedite my already great skills, to cut that time that I used to take being great in half, it's proper work. It just takes less time. And a lot of people are very stubborn to get out of their own way in doing busy, long, tumultuous, tedious work for no results most of the time. Because that tedious work tends to turn into, oh, I actually forgot something out because I did not note that. But if I did note it, I would not have been here. So a lot of people need to get out of their own way, especially where AI is transforming a lot of industries. It's transforming people, it's transforming processes. I do feel like it is the new frontier. And rather than being apprehensive, be understanding. Make your own opinion halfway
Have a,
found.
have a conversation, Miss Forde.
Mm-hmm.
The only route to consensus is conversation. So
Definitely.
I need to run off in a second.
Gotcha.
I want to encourage people to talk because do not underestimate this. Make no mistake, the game has changed. And we have to take everybody along for the ride. And everybody's opinion is valid. Everybody's opinion isn't right, but everybody's opinion is valid. And without inclusiveness in the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
we can't effect the change we need to effect in time
Indeed.
to save us from economic turmoil or further economic turmoil. Because we already, some would argue we're already in economic turmoil, but I here to tell you, we have seen nothing yet if we do not
Mhm.
diversify our economy and we do not up value in every space that we're in. So, um, Ms. Forde, this was an amazing interview, and I am grateful for
Of
you
course.
taking the time to have this discussion about this very important
Of
topic.
course.
And I want you to keep up the great work that you're doing with AI Insider, and I will be looking out
You.
for more
Thank you.
content.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, who's the
I
next? What's the next sector? You talked to law already. Now you're talking to health and safety. Give me the sneak
Mhm.
peek. Who are you gonna talk to next?
It's a surprise.
A surprise. Uh,
I'm really and truly hoping that I can get on to education. And
ah,
I also want to get international security. And I also want to get into, believe it or not, finance.
oh. Well, I am going to be staying tuned, ma'am, and I
Of
appreciate all
course.
of your good work and thank you
Thank
again.
you. Thank you. Thank you. So, guys, this is AI Insider. We have touched on so many topics in health and safety, but most importantly, I want the message to be that AI is the future. They're not here to harm you, they are here to help you. Right? And until next time, guys. Bye.